In the broad scale of things, when I say healthcare, what do you think of?
I mean, the first image that comes to mind is a dude in a white coat.
I think about a system that hopefully is about caring for people and often, unfortunately, is about treating people.
It's so easy to forget LGBTQ folks when we don't talk about pride or when we don't talk about like gay bars or, things that people think of when they think of LGBTQ folks.
Everything in healthcare is patterned after gender binary, after cis-normative ideas and heteronormative ideas.
I always talk to myself before I go in and deal with the medical world by saying, I am the one who is paying the money. I am the one that is hiring these people to take care of me. Therefore, I'm the one in charge.
When I was in medical school and residency, the people that I chose to go see, I made sure were lesbian because I wasn't sure what a straight person would do with my sexual orientation. And I think a lot of people did that. If they could figure out what the sexual orientation was of their clinician, they tried to make sure that a gay man would seek out a gay man for healthcare. A lesbian would seek out a lesbian for healthcare. Or at least somebody that they knew had an open mind and wasn't gonna tell them that they needed to change.
Coming out to providers can be pretty scary because you don't know how they're going to respond, but it feels really, really important for someone you're going to have a close, trusting relationship with, someone you're going to be vulnerable about your body. It feels really important for that person to know this about you. And it feels difficult for me, not to know if that person's going to accept that as something that's important, or if they're going to think, oh, you're bringing in this part of your sex life into this medical relationship, and that's not appropriate.
I'm usually like pretty outspoken about things that involve me. And I go into a doctor's, I have insurance. I'm blessed to have insurance. I work in a hospital. So I feel that I am normally comfortable in a medical system or medical environment. And I go in and I just shut down. I'm not necessarily sure if the doctor silences me or my previous experiences silence myself.
I know that I've been socialized to you trust what a doctor says, but my experiences with doctors are usually less than trustworthy. So I have both of those rattling in my head, and that typically just creates a sense of unease. And so I feel like I'm doing going to the doctor wrong if I don't trust you. It wasn't until I was very much an adult, when I was able to make the choice about where I was going to go and who I was going to see, that I was able to find like a doctor, a GP, primary doctor that I felt comfortable around. But again, before I had any kind of insurance, I relied on Planned Parenthood a lot. I had like an issue that I needed to get sorted out, and the person who was checking me in was like, "Oh, what kind of, or like, are you a sexually active adult?" I was like, "Yes," and then it was, "What kind of contraception do you use?" And I said, "Oh, I don't use any." And then they looked really concerned. It's like, "Oh, because well, I'm involved with a woman. We don't use contraception." He's like, "Oh, I have a whole other list for that." And so pulled out a whole other list of like a female-bodied person who sleeps with other female-bodied people. And I asked all of those. And I was like, this is excellent and much more in line with the kinds of questions that I need to answer.
Best medical experiences that I've had, they got to know me. And it's kind of a catch-22 too, because doctors are expected to see, God only knows how many patients during a day, interrupt us 12 seconds into a session, a meeting. So how much are they really gonna get to know me? But I think there's a way of including me in my own health care when I've made the appointment for my body, to not start off with an expert, like I'm gonna I know all that there is.
I've had the same doctor since I was 15, and before that, like, I had a pediatrician for a really long time. It was the same woman that delivered me. And so I was really nervous because I had just said spouse or partner for a really long time. And then my wife and I go to the same doctor, actually, which is so wonderful. But I was nervous, and she was super like, oh, okay. And she like changed it on the chart. And then she was like, anything in particular that you need to talk about, anything in the history that you want to add to your sexual history? And I was like, nope, you know everything. And she was like, okay, great. Well, we'll keep talking about it. And it was just like so casual and nonchalant. And I really appreciated that. It was like more nerve-wracking than coming out to my parents. I was nervous I was gonna have to find a different doctor. Yeah.